Hello lovely people.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Ask Your Lesbian Mothers.
Feels like ages since we did the last one.
It does.
Time moves very fast but also like very slow with Rupert because like he changes so much week to week and then you're like, what, that was only like last week?
Yeah, he's currently going through quite a developmental leap.
Like developmental, you say that like every time you talk to camera about him, he's going for a developmental leap. I think the entire year of life is like a one massive leap.
I think that might be humans.
Tilly is here as well behind Jessie. There she is.
But yes, Rupert is asleep, kind of on the other side of that wall, but not really because there's an inbuilt walk-in wardrobe. This video is sponsored by the Pandora Mother's Day campaign, celebrating mothers and mother figures everywhere, no matter what type of family you have. So the way that Ask Your Lesbian Mothers works is that we are here to be the warm, opening, loving, parental figures, although some of you are older than us, unimportant detail, to give life advice if we can. And these are all questions that came from the community tab.
So, I've got some questions here. How do I deal with internalized homophobia? Following you and Claudia has been pretty much my first ever example of a healthy and happy lesbian relationship. I've never seen it represented, so I can't picture it fully for myself, and I tend to not see my relationships as seriously as straight ones.
Ah, that is fair. The representation trap. Quite often when we see lesbian relationships represented in media, one of us has to die. That's a pretty common trope. Sort of hoping that my marriage doesn't end up that way. We get to make it to the end. A good 60 years of marriage.
Or we like die together in our sleep.
Yeah, that's our aim.
Whilst rubbing our cold, wrinkly feet together.
Internalized homophobia is a difficult thing to deal with. It comes from the outside. It does. We still deal with it a lot. We deal with people who call us girls. We're married. We own a house. We have a baby now. Are we not adults? I mean, really, girls, who's going to put up the shelves for you?
I mean, to be fair, we do sometimes get help to get the shelves up, but
But
normally...
it's our friend Andrea,
I was going to say, normally...
who is a lesbian.
Yeah.
So, homophobia comes from outside, and it's a terrible stain. But the way to clean it up is from the inside, which is great because it means it's something you can actively do. And I think a great way to start is by changing up the media that you consume. Tell you what, I'm gonna link 5 LGBTQ plus couples down in the description below who have
Couple
lovely...
goals.
Yeah, couple goals who have beautiful, healthy, happy relationships.
Did either of you guys ever date girls secretly before you were comfortable telling everyone? Even if you didn't, what are your opinions on it? I'm currently in a position where I'm considering asking someone out and dating secretly, but I wasn't sure if I should just wait until we graduate, since we live in a very conservative Christian community. She already knows I like her and she's bi. If either of us were to be found out, it could be pretty bad. I don't think either of us would be kicked out of our homes or anything, but still.
Well, I never came out, didn't grow up with the expectation that I would be straight, and I therefore never had to have a moment where I was like, surprise guys.
No, I didn't date anyone secretly before I came out. I had some very intense best friends. I never thought about dating them because I was actually I guess I had internalized homophobia and I hadn't really accepted it in myself.
You spent a lot of time quite single in your figuring yourself out phase while you were
in my early 20s.
hiding under the covers watching The L Word.
Oh yeah, I watched The L Word in secret.
She dated The L Word.
My personal experience is that I wasn't able to date secretly because the secret in itself was too a big of a barrier to me. I had to accept it in myself before I dated someone. But yeah, our opinion of it, what would you think?
I would say that whatever you do, make sure that you're safe. That is the most important thing. If you feel like you can express your interest in this delightful girl,
I think if it's mutual, and you're both in the same situation, it could be quite liberating even though it's secret, and actually it could be the first step you need to take to get further out with your journey.
However,
do as your mum say, make sure you're safe. Look both ways when you cross the road.
this month we're joining Pandora in celebrating all types of mothers and mother figures by putting them at the centre. for all that they do and all that they are. This Mother's Day is so special to us because it's our first as actual mothers, and we couldn't be happier to have little Rue in our lives. Claudia is such an inspiring mother to me because she's an individual and she isn't what people would think of as typically mumsy, unlike me. Yet she's a completely natural mother and so incredibly nurturing. To me, she has this really strong sense of self that's so far beyond being just a mum, yet it's this kind of role that she takes to effortlessly. And FYI, being just a mum is pretty cool. As you know, Claudia and I have very different styles, and I dress vintage and love to feel like a princess, which Pandora obviously adds to. Can't help but love some sparkle. Whereas Claudia is much more casual, often seen in jeans and a t-shirt. I love our differences, and it showcases just how versatile the jewellery is. This Mother's Day collection can be worn as part of an everyday look, for special occasions. I mean, if you're like me, then obviously you're dressed for a ball every day, so beautiful jewellery is always needed. These timeless pieces are a great way to say thank you and show your appreciation for your parental figures. Family is so much more than blood, it grows in our hearts too. These charms are a representation of us as a family and the unbreakable bond we have with Rupert as his mothers. Click the link in the description to find out more about the Pandora's Mother's Day collection and shop for yourself.
I noticed that Claudia is quite into protecting the environment / gardening, and I know you've talked about disability and letting go of guilt about disability needs that are resource requiring.
Indeed.
Can you talk more about doing what you can while also maintaining self-respect and not giving yourself a hard time or fearing the future if climate change isn't addressed well?
We're made to believe that climate change is something we can affect on a micro level. If we just do our part, then the whole world would be better. But actually, it's like there are 100 companies that are creating 75% of the greenhouse gases. So, but I think the feeling that, oh, this should be an individual issue that we're each addressing is really quite doubled when you are a disabled person, because tend, depending on your disability, to require more resources to live. That is just how it is, that is just the world. And no, that doesn't mean that we're any less worthy of being here, that we have any less right to continue on. And it also doesn't mean that we should somehow make sure that there are no disabled people in the future. That's also not what that means. But I do think that we could all be doing our little whatever we can to the best of our ability. For me, it's making small changes in ways that I can do and trying to feel my best about that. So for instance, with Rupert, using his nappies, I really felt that using sort of cloth nappies wasn't something that I would be able to manage. We use some wonderful biodegradable disposable nappies are made of bamboo. He absolutely loves them, and they degrade in 6 months. 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And we put them in biodegradable like bin bags as well.
Yeah.
I think we've turned into those very boring couple that just literally all they talk about is their baby.
Yeah.
As a consumer, we can choose to only choose a supplier that uses green energy like we do, or we only buy free-range meat, or we only buy organic vegetables.
Yeah.
Or we buy biodegradable baby wipes. You know, these are decisions that we're making, and that's the power we have as consumers. How can I encourage friends / family to become educated on LGBTQ+ matters without it seeming pushy? And have you gotten any notable comments from people as same-sex parents?
I mean, I'm still wounded by sometimes a baby just needs their mum.
Oh yeah.
I was with my son. Like, thanks.
I guess then you might think that is pushy if you send them like links to things.
I would invite them to watch, and guys, please fill the comments with some suggestions here, but I would invite them to watch a program that doesn't have as the main storyline an LGBTQ+ storyline, generally supposed to be about something else. You're not seeming pushy because it's not like, here, I'm sending you the L word. It's, hey, you should watch this show. Seems cool. Then they come back and they're like, did you know there was a lesbian in it? You're like, oh.
Yeah, or find interesting articles, relevant stuff that is to do with the community and how that affects the news or something, and like that's like because it's quite topical sharing, right? In your video about signing to Rupert, you talked about signing as a form of communication a baby can handle earlier than speech. In that video you seem to indicate that this enabled Rupert to communicate things he wouldn't have been able to say had he to rely on speech only. How's your experience thus far? Wow.
Yes! So, Rupert is currently 9 months old. But the most obvious word word that he can say is probably
More.
which is just more.
But yeah, it's still a word because it's when it's used in context, so when he's asking for more, usually food. And the first time he did it, he signed as well to sort of reiterate that's what he said, what he meant.
He looked down at his empty bowl, looked up at Claudia and went, more.
Yeah. And I was like, do you want more? And he was like, more.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he can sign a lot of things that are to do with elimination communication, which we've been doing since the beginning.
Yeah.
So we don't use the word potty trained, but he uses the potty, basically.
Yeah, we wouldn't say potty trained because we didn't train him.
He does this, which is wee. So before he does it, he does, and then change.
Yeah. Not only that, his ability to communicate with sign language means that it's not just the basic, my nappy is wet, it's that he can have a conversation with us almost. You had a conversation with him the other day.
I mean, it was all about the potty and what he needed to do on the potty. But yeah, I mean, he woke up from a nap. I took him
about other stuff.
I took him to the potty. I think he can only really communicate his basic needs to us. I took him to the potty after he woke up from a nap because you normally always need to go after you first wake up. And he sat on the potty and nothing happened, and I was just like, okay, never mind. Went back to the bedroom, and then halfway through breastfeeding he suddenly just stopped and was like, and I was just like, yeah, milk, because this is milk, which is kind of similar when he does it. It's like sometimes he does this. And he was like, and then did change. I mean, he doesn't shake his head, he just did change. And I was like, oh, you need a change, wee? And I thought, really? Because we just went to the potty. But I thought, okay, well, he's asking, so we're going to follow it through. That's another thing we always do, we always follow through. If he says change, we just take him to the potty. He sat on the potty, and then he was like, and then as he did it, he did a wee. And I was like, oh, you didn't need a wee, okay, great. Okay, finished, we'll get off the potty. And he was like, change. And I was like, yeah, we were changing, we're doing it, we're on the potty. And then he was like, I tried to like take him off and he was like, kind of thing. And then he was just like, and I was like, oh, you're doing a poo-poo. And then he just did a poo. And then after the poo, then he did another wee and he told me I'm doing another wee and I was just like, okay.
Thanks for this
and then he was like,
it.
which means I'm done. And I was like, okay, you're finished, great, let's get off. I knew what was happening because he was narrating the whole way through it. But it was quite amazing, really.
And the other evening we were having dinner and it started to rain outside, and then he looked outside and went,
yeah,
which is rain. Rain. So yes, sign language is going very well with Rupert. Do I still have to come out to my family as bisexual if I have a boyfriend? I'm 19 and have had a boyfriend for 1.5 years, and I honestly see myself being with him for the rest of my life, but I'm debating whether I still need to come out to my parents. I would like to think they'd be accepting, but I'm not sure as both sets of grandparents are homophobic, and so are my uncle and brother. Well, first of all, Amy...
Stay safe. Is that what you're going to say?
No. Yes. Sure.
Your answer for every kind of
No,
coming out.
I just have a motherly instinct. So, Amy, second piece of advice then. You ruined my first one. Amy, firstly, you phrased the question, do I still need to come out to my family as bisexual if I have a boyfriend? Amy, you don't need to come out to anyone. It's your own thing. It's a piece of information about yourself that you don't have to share with anyone if it doesn't make you feel comfortable. You don't have to. And especially if you're unsure about their response to it.
I think you could basically express your opinion that you're pro-bisexuality without coming out as bisexual yourself initially, to like test the waters. If you feel that it's a big part of your identity and that you feel more comfortable with your close family, i.e. your parents, knowing that part about yourself to feel more complete and more honest in your relationship with them, then you should tell them.
Obviously, having a boyfriend doesn't in any way make you less of a bisexual, and that needs to be made clear to them, because your parents may be a little on the, oh, but you have a boyfriend, so this isn't even a thing, it's nothing. But this is a part of you, Amy, and that's clearly important to you because you've asked us the question.
Sexuality, like you say, even though you foresee yourself with your boyfriend for the rest of your life, it's not about who you're with. It's about you.
There can also be a lovely thing after coming out where you find your relationships with people are a little easier, because sometimes, even unconsciously, they can feel that there's something you're holding back.
That's why you like that haircut and those dungarees. You know?
Sure, that.
Or like, oh, I always wondered why you had your left ear pierced but no other ear. You know what, this is the kind of way my dad would think. I did wonder why you like that really butch leather jacket. Bit of a style choice.
So there we go, I hope we've answered some of your questions.
Go to bed. It's frickin' late and we're really exhausted. You know, unlike Jessica, who gets to sleep through the night soundly, muted to the world, I have to wake up to a crying baby who then, like, sucks on my bosom. It's been 9 months of
He does occasionally sleep through the night. I hope you've answered some of your questions. We're going to do another follow-up Ask Your Lesbian Mothers soon. Probably not filmed really late. Thank you again to Pandora for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to see more from the Mother's Day campaign, it is available now both in selected stores and online. So you can go click on the link below in the description to find out more.
Good night, good luck. We love you. What's that thing?
That was nice.
Is it? I don't know, I'm talking rubbish.
I don't know what that's from, but we'll steal it.
I don't think it's from anything, darling.
Oh, okay. From your brain. Good night, good luck, and we love you.
Sounds a bit ominous, but yeah.
It does sound ominous when I say it. Things always sound ominous when I say them.
Can you just wrap it up?
Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Mwah.